demonology and angelology started to get formed around the Middle Ages up to modern times, there's said to be different realms that they inhabit, different parallel realities structured in a form of concentric circles or spheres that exist in different layers, similar to a Russian doll. And all of these different layers or realms are said to emanate out from a single source. And that single source is known as the God. That one point, that concentrated source energy is that one center sphere, that infinite sphere is known to be God. And then these realms emanate out in circles from that single source. There's 10 divine layers, also known as Sephiroth. Each layer is controlled by a different angel and is inhabited by different types of angels and demons respectively. In the Kabbalah, this is shown through the Tree of Life, and most of this is based on the Kabbalistic teachings. And then the demonic realm is the inverted Tree of Life. So it's the exact opposite, the exact same, but the exact opposite. The branches of the Tree of Life are at the bottom and the roots are at the top. And then those roots meet with the Tree of Life, and then that Tree of Life grows up from there. And the Tree of Life is the angelic realm, the inverted Tree of Life is the demonic realm. In Kabbalistic teachings, this really represents the descent of humans from the divine. The angelic realm is described in different hierarchical layers. First hierarchy, which is most closest to the divine or that source energy, that's inhabited by the Seraphim, what we recognize and what we call the Seraphim now. They are the highest order of angels surrounding the throne of God. And again, a lot of these angels, and we've talked about that before, like the depictions from Ezekiel, are not what we recognize today as a glowing human form. A lot of them are explained to be a lot of like wild creatures, with many eyes and all these crazy things. But the Seraphim, the first order of angels that surround God, they're said to be constantly moving around God and constantly singing. They're known to be singing praise of God at all times. And if they can never stop singing. They have to constantly be singing these songs to God. They sing these praises, and these songs regulate the movement of the heavens. Also in that first layer is the Cherubim, the guardians of divine light and knowledge. They're depicted as protectors of sacred spaces. They also help govern the cosmos, and they help to maintain divine order. The second layer in the hierarchy, it's inhabited by angels or beings called the Dominions, and they govern the activities of the lower angelic groups that we're going to talk about here. In this second hierarchy, these angels are said to help humans integrate the spiritual matters between the divine and the material world. A lot of times they're depicted as just beams of divine energy. They're also said to hold all of humanity's consciousness. They're like the protectors of humanity's collective consciousness. They're also said to hold the necessary energy for the forces of birth and death in this second layer. In the third layer, or the third hierarchy, the angels that inhabit that, they're known as principalities, and they're guardian angels of different nations on earth and different large groups of people. They're said to be closer to humans, and they influence human affairs more directly. And the way they influence humans is through different ideas and circumstances. This is where the archangels are located, and they are known to carry divine messages from God to humans. The most notable ones are Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Uriel. Some people argue that Gabriel is not actually an archangel because he's never specifically, definitively depicted as one, but that's a discussion for a different time. These angels in the third layer are said to be closest to humans, and they also serve as personal guardians or the messengers. That's the angelic realm. That's the three different layers. Then you have the inverted version of that, the demonic realm. The first hierarchy of the demonic realm, so these would be the ones closest to the devil or Satan, or the exact inversion of God. They were the demon kings, and they were said to be closest to Lucifer, the light bearer. They were involved in the rebellion against God, and they were supposedly promised some sort of reward if they were to win. That first hierarchy of demons, that first sphere of the demon realm, that's where supposedly the demon princes were supposed to be, and they were originally powerful angels who joined in the rebellion against God. They joined Lucifer in this rebellion against God in the stories. Second hierarchy is known to have demon dukes, and that's a bunch of different angels who joined after they saw the higher ranks joining. The third hierarchy, these demons were said to join just strictly out of their hatred and their jealousy of mankind, and they were jealous of God's love for humans, so they joined in this rebellion against God. Azazel, who we talked about before, he declined into hell, and he chose to decline into hell instead of wandering earth. So there's some really interesting stories behind that. But they were promised to be rewarded with all types of different magical knowledge if they won in this rebellion against God. They were said to grow more powerful by consuming human souls.